So, why am I telling you all this, you may ask? So you may know all these elemental people, and how the demon dragon came to be in the first place. In the beginning, the victim was a northern water tribe couple, the female water triber named Yuri, and her lovely lover, Tundra. Now there was nothing wrong with the couple at all, but it was the girlfriend who was acting pretty fishy. She started to act like everything was fine, but in a few days past, she held her stomach like she was having cramps, and then later feeling weak and ill from strange occurrence. It all started from an unknown shadow entity, like creature, that was part of a demon, animal, monster, even beast. And they called it Yin. But somehow it affected Yuri in a way where she did unknown tasks and cruel things. But there was one task that caused her to snap out of Yin creature trance. The creature congrats Yuri from reaching for desire, meaning ever since Yuri contacted Yin, it's trying to grant her most desire, by helping her do some regrettable things. So, Yin wants Yuri to sacrifice her boyfriend, Tundra. Once Yuri heard the Yin command, she completely snapped out of Yin control. As this cut out, Yuri and Yin fight by switching between who was controlling the body's host. As Yuri final struggles to fought off Yin, but Yin had the upper hand, and as it about to take a strike on Tundra, but luckily for Tundra, he was a water tribe warrior who knows the art of swordsmanship. Very skilled at martial arts. He used to be a great chief before he met Yuri and fell in love with her. As the battle of Tundra and Yin commenced, the one thing he knows very well about Yuri, she's a shifu of the arts of water. But it was Tundra's honor, passion, including his determination to put a stop to Yin once and for all. After the two lovers clashed at each other, as Twisted Yuri created an ice blade. She also had a water knife, which means this is bad news to Tundra, since Yuri water knife could cut through metal quite easily. So Tundra has to be careful and act smart if he can. So as the clash continued on and on in the ancient Japanese home, which was enlightened by the sparks from the knife and sword clashing against each other, the duel became more furious. At this point, Twisted Yuri is getting more dangerous at each strike of the duel. Tundra told and think of a way to get the real Yuri back without a warning. Yin created an ice claws. By that meaning, Twisted Yuri had long sleeves, causing her to strike at her lover, as her lover had a quick glance at his girlfriend, lifting her left arm. With Tundra quick reflexes, and he tried to take out his katana to block her ice claw shoot attack, as Twisted Yuri jumped in mid-air and created an ice gauntlet. Yuri had an ice gauntlet, and from the fall impact and following following the punch, it backfired, and then Yuri used Ice Creeper. Yuri used this technique to trick Tundra, but she couldn't catch him because Tundra performed a mid-air backflip jump from the technique before she got an advantage. Yuri decided to use Ice Line. Yuri intended to use this technique to put Tundra in a coma to sacrifice him, but Tundra played his cards right by ducking the technique and charging at Yuri, and Yuri charged at Tundra, and then Tundra accidentally killed his love. When Tundra realized what he did to his lover, but then Yin fated to separate more desires to other nations. Right after Yin left the corpse of Yuri, Tundra wrote a scroll about the incident. Years later, Yin spotted his desired victim. It was in the Earth Kingdom, a royal couple, a female named Chijo, and her lover husband, Jitsu. When Chojo was in a room to meditate in her chamber, Yin had a chance to affect Shinjo, just like he did when he consumed Yuri. When she was sleeping, he terrorized her with horror images and nightmares, including night terrors. Yin gave Chijo a decision to join him, and she get what she most desired. If it's not her husband, then what she really wants. And she get what she most desired. If it's not her husband, then what she really wants, that her true feelings in her heart really wants. As you can't really tell, Yin is getting a being what their mood and heart want, as Chujo was fooled, just like Yuri was. Of course, Yin took over for a while. Weeks later, poor Chojo was being criticized from her people in the Earth Kingdom. In this case, Chojo don't remember what exactly happened those last weeks. But as soon as Chojo went to a mirror and seen her reflection, she was startled to see a doppelganger of herself with a slightly different appearance. Her skin was very dry, and her joints was extremely bent. Her eyes was way too disturbing. Her scala was a macaron dark pink, and her iris was crimson red, and her pupil was as thin as a cat or a dragon. And her nails were very sharp, and it was purple. And her skin itself was very dry pink, and her veins were red and violet purple. And finally, her hair was bloody red. It looks like she dipped her hair in the blood of victims, plus the physical self of her eerie reflection looks like it was a dying corpse. And next to her was a creepy reflection of Yin himself. His colors was black, mixed with red, violet, and purple. And he even had spider eyes that was red. And his teeth was yellow and sharp. This beast monster asked Chojo if she liked her. If she liked her new look. After hearing what Yin said, now Chojo see now he betrayed her by using her power for her anger, apparently after she had a fuss with Yin. As her husband Jitsu was quite confused from the fact that he see his wife fighting with a mirror, and then what really took the cake, she grabbed a stone since she was an earthbender and smashed the mirror. As the mirror was being smashed to pieces, Yin gave her a warning as he faded away from the mirror. And in that very moment, Jisoo came to comfort his wife as she was going through true pain and horror. After the days passed, Shinjo went through the curse corruption phases, meaning she was having terrible cramps, and then she became lightheaded, and then she had a headache, to a seizure and spazzing out, even have muscle aches, and finally she was getting sick as being terribly ill. The same phase that Yuri went through, but Chujo's husband was terribly concerned for Chujo. But now I know you're asking why Yin is doing this to Yuri and Shinjo. Because the only thing Shinjo is good for, if things doesn't go his way, he tortured them spiritually and get a superior power to control the host himself. After Shinjo went to a deep coma for a while, she was given in a sleep paralysis when she felt dreadfully numb. After some time, a severe mentally and spiritually tortured, Yin came back to take control, and she was as stiff and spazzing as a zombie. And apparently her arms were bent, and it was set in strange proportions as each, and she was bent with strange proportion each time she walked, since he only haven't took control since 1,000 years. As he finally made it to the husband chamber, he held up an axe to take a stab at Jisoo, but out of nowhere, Chujo struck back the same way Yuri did to save her husband. Her most desire is their lone love. After Chojo distracted Yin enough to let her husband get up to see the horror before him, after he seen this horror figure monster, Jisoo used his hidden earthbending technique, Earth Launch. As Jisoo used this technique, Twisted Chiju lost her axe and began an earthbending duel between the two lovers. This is way different for Yuri and Tundra. It was between warrior and a waterbender. Twisted Chujo used earth sinking. But Jisoo seen his wife use this attack many times when they dueled when they were teenagers. Jisoo used Earth Gauntlet. But of course, Twisted Chojo used Earth and Stone Levitation. But luckily Jisoo used Earth Wall. At that moment, Chijo used Earth Gauntlet to use against Jisoo Earth Wall. As Jisoo fell, then Chojo trapped Jisoo in earthquakes. As Yin was happy to trap the first victim to do the ritual, as quickly Chojo stepped over to the axe to kill her husband, as Jisoo had only one chance to save himself from the twisted abomination. He shot out Rock's projector and finally accidentally impaled his own wife with a stagnant. After the heartbreak felt that Jisoo did to his poor sickling wife, Jisoo used Earth Wave to get out to get out of the earth fizzer trap, came over to the lifeless Chojo. After Yin failed this one, he faded away from the lifeless body of Chojo. But Jisoo had pat from the possession and moved on.